Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2022-2023, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 75 years of independence. United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art Sciences and Well-being. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's sessions. Today we have commemorations. Today is International Sword Swallows Day. Though it seems to be wide and wonderful, it takes place on the last Saturday in February, and this year it will be on February 25th. So sword swallowers, those guys who pass along pointy, sharp instruments through their mouths into their stomachs, often don't get the same level of fame and respect as other entertainers. So this holiday was specially created to recognize and appreciate sword swallowers while educating people about their contribution to the world. This day has another higher purpose too. It attempts to eradicate all myths surrounding sword swallowing and bring global attention to how the sword swallowing community has helped both medically and scientifically. So this initiative was formed to raise money for esophageal cancer research and fund medical treatment for injured sword swallowers. Many years ago, in 2000 BC, priests in India developed this art to demonstrate their power and bond with their gods. They also came up with firewalking on hot coals, snake handling, and other ascetic religious practices. Originating in India, this practice slowly spread across the world. It was seen during the Teutonic fight for Rome in 410 AD In China, around 750 AD, festivals around the Roman Empire held sword swallowing as part of the entertainment. By the 8th century, a type of Japanese street theater called sangaku could also trace its origins back to sword swallowing. The art from soon made its way to Europe from Rome and Greece, and medieval jongleurs and other street performers would exhibit their skills in this area. While the Catholic Church banned such street performances during the Middle Ages, common folk still enjoyed a good sword swallowing performance. By the 1800s, interest in street performances dwindled in Europe, and with it, the interest in sword swallowing. The end of 19th century brought sword swallowing to America via World Columbian Exposition in Chicago. The new generation of performance was born. Around this time, various articles suggested sword swallowers had been instrumental in medical and scientific breakthroughs. First, a Scottish physicist used a sword swallower to study the human digestive system. In 1868, Dr. Adolf Kussmaul reportedly used a sword swallower to invent the endoscope. As the years went by, primary showcases for sword swallowers decreased. Sword swallowers in circuses and sideshows became a rare sight. There are very few sword swallowers practicing their craft in this day and age. According to statistics, most of them hail from the Indian city of Andhra Pradesh, where the knowledge and experience and practice of sword swallowing is passed down from generations to generations, from father to son. As this art form became a story in the history rather than a practiced art form, enthusiasts like Dan Mayer, the president and founder of Sword Swallowers Association International, and sword swallower himself, decided things had to change. Mayer realized that there are many national holidays for everyone, mothers, fathers, grandparents, so why not for sword swallowers? According to him, very few people realize how much performers put themselves at a risk to entertain the masses. So the SSAI created International Sword Swallowers Day. So an ancient art is born more than 2000 BC. People in southern parts of India, especially from Andhra Pradesh, practiced sword swallowing. And in 1993, Ripley's Believe It or Not showcases sword swallowers at the auditorium in Chicago. Dan Mayers forms an association to preserve the art of sword swallowing, and Sword Swallowers Association International is formed in 2001. The first medical study on sword swallowing, Mayer and British radiologist Dr. Brian Whitcombe co-author a study, Sword Swallowing and its Side Effects, for the British Medical Journal. An unusual Nobel Prize, sword swallowing and its side effects, gains international attention and wins the 2007 LG Nobel Prize in Medicine at Harvard University, a honor given to unusual and thought-provoking research in 2007. And Sword Swallowers Association International launches International Sword Swallowers Day, co-sponsored by Ripley's Believe It or Not in 2007. So you might be wondering whether sword swallowers actually swallow a sword. Yes, they do. The sword moves from their mouths down to their esophagus and the stomach. There are about 100 living sword swallowers worldwide, and it is also becoming extinction. According to SSAI, it takes around 3 to 10 years to learn this art. However, some people claim to have mastered it in 6 months. So check out some awesome performances live, like Ripley Believe It or Not. which host such live shows at many of their auditoriums. Those with travel restrictions can catch live streams of these performances. Or sword swallowers gather at countless Ripley's Believe It or Not museums throughout America on this holiday. You can watch these artists perform in person by visiting a show. So appease your curiosity about how these guys actually do it, bust all your myths, and maybe learn a little about the art itself. You can start with the numerous online resources and articles on the web. So while inventing the endoscope, which goes into the body exactly like a sword, researchers felt sword swallowers' bodies were best able to handle the rigid device without many repercussions. So thus, sword swallowers were used for endoscopy. So thanks to the medical contribution. Coney Island's famous sideshow school had sword swallowing classes as part of their curriculum. And sword swallowers can't put something down their throats without repercussions. They call the performance-induced irritation of the throat sword throat. In 2008, Red Sword swallowed 34 swords at a time, setting a record for the most swords swallowed simultaneously. And veteran sword swallower Dan Mayer swallowed a sword, then used it to pull a 3,700 lip IPSA car for the World Swallowers Day in 2013. So it has been a sword swallowing stunt for the ages. And they put their lives on the pointy line just as to entertain us. So we think that they deserve some love and get some recognition. This just goes to the show that absolutely everything is a learning opportunity. They help with medicine and science. It also exists to resolve questions like how does it feel to swallow a sword and what are the side effects? And we have seen yesterday also, today is a day which is similar, introduce a girl to the engineering day in US. A significant day introducing to girl to engineering day is marked annually at the end of February during engineering week. So this day was founded by the National Society of Professional Engineers in 1951. According to NSP, Engineering Week aims to ensure a diverse and well-educated future engineering workforce by increasing understanding of and interest in engineering and technology careers. Since the origins of STEM fields in 18th century, the age of enlightenment have remained predominantly male. It is burgeoning issue calling for an urgent redress. One of the main ways that is being done is through creation of scholarships for women. So STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So for many years, STEM fields, particularly engineering and computer science, have been under male domination. Data from research over the years reflects a spike with women today, accounting for 14% of engineers in the United States, risen from 5.8% in 1980s. More work needs to be done to grow representation. Although over time, the engineering landscape has received a major boost with more willing female applications churning in, a jaw-dropping 40% of the female move to other fields. Man has forever been intuitively creative, possessing the innate ability to tap imagination and adapt different situations. Engineering traces its roots to the ancient era where makeshift devices such as wedges, levers, wheels, and pulleys were invented. The word engineering comes from the words ingere and ingenium, two Latin words that mean to create or contrive, and cleverness, respectively. In the ancient era, the much talked about Egyptian pyramids, ziggurats of Mesopotamia, and among others are proof of early civil and military engineering. Documentary record says that earliest civil engineer was Egyptian Chancellor Imhotep, one of the officials of Pharaoh speculated to have designed the Pyramid of Djoser, the step pyramid at Saqqara in Egypt, built around 2630 BC in the West. So engineering as a profession kicked off in the 18th century in the West with modern engineering drawing, much from Newtonian mechanics based on Newton's law of motion. Engineering as a field has been male-powered for many years. However, in today's society, we see women successfully fighting for equal opportunities in the engineering workspace. So this day has been proclaimed 15 years ago by NSPE in collaboration with IBM and National Engineering Week Foundation. This day is an effort to introduce young girls to STEM professions to create fairness in STEM fields by allowing them to engage in practical work tasks as well as learn about these diverse fields. So the first woman, President James Madison, signs Mark Mary Dixon Pease patent for her new technique of making hats by weaving straw with silk and thread in 1809. Martha Coston receives a patent, who invents a night signal flare system called as Coston flare, which receives a patent and used by the US Navy. And the first engineering society for women, Lady Catherine Parsons, Amy Johnson, Dame Caroline Haslett, and Professor Daphne Jackson, establishes the United Kingdom's Women Engineering Society. It is the first kind of its engineering society for women in 1919. Aeronautical engineer Austin makes history as the first woman, the first African-American appointed president and CEO of the Aerospace Corporation in 2008. Though in the West it seems to be, recent, about 1-2 centuries, but India it is very old, as it is an age-old profession. We see Vishwakarma and various other sages who have, built various towns and cities in ancient India and even before in ancient civilizations. There's no limitation. Amazingly, the broadness of engineering field allows for the accommodation of varied interests. Each branch of engineering offers its benefits, but interest should be main determinant. So this day usually falls within Engineers Week in February, usually on Saturday, last Saturday in February. So engineering is one of the world's most diverse fields, yet females are largely underrepresented. You could ignite curiosity and passion through a showcase of different fields, such as beauty, construction, and health, where engineering cut across. Dwell into problem solving, get practical, and explore the awesome transformative impact of engineering on everyday life through workshops and events, and table numerous possibilities waiting out there. Adjust the societal mindset. STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, and medicine are male-dominated mostly owing to the perception and stereotypes. Engineering isn't a boy thing. Girls are also smart and capable too. We must foster mentorship and an enabling environment in engineering for females to blossom. The pioneering electrical engineer achieved the feat in 1919 when she landed her degree upon completion of her MSc at MIT, the first world's female engineer in the West. Ada Lovelace, world's first computer programmer, English mathematician, Lovelace wrote an algorithm for a computing machine in the mid 1800s. American engineer Jemison flew into space and rewrote history as the first African American woman in the space in 1992, the world's first Black female astronaut. And where racism is widely prevalent and practiced in US, and it is a great opportunity for the Black woman to be the first female astronaut. And windshield wipers were invented by a woman long before automobiles were industrialized. Mary Anderson invented windshield wiper in 1903. And in 1996, she invented, Mary Van Britten Brown invented home security video system, along with her husband, Albert Brown, who patented the device in 1969. So the engineering field, thus super exciting yet so challenging, offers diverse innovative solutions spanning across different sectors like IT, beauty, healthcare, food infrastructure, artificial intelligence, and many more, therefore ushering limitless possibilities for female to thrive. It encourages efforts towards inclusivity and diversity. Age-long beliefs about STEM fields have led to the drastic underrepresentation of women in the field of engineering. However, with introduce a girl to engineering day, we are faced with reality that our girls are limited in terms of intellectual development, higher pay, job flexibility, and ultimately robbed of the thrill of conquering a challenge. Owing to the low percentage of female engineers and arguable significance of the field, the burden of what we can do better to change the narrative of weighs heavier apart from women being given engineering jobs, the need to encourage them via address respectfully, promotion of brilliant talent, and equal pay with their male counterparts. The day helps us address these challenges. And today is also Let's All Eat Right Day in US. It marks the birthday of Edel Davis, a famous nutritionist, author, and game changer in the nutrition movement throughout the 1900s. Eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a pauper. Well, this wise adage can be credited to Davis herself. Though, even before that, we have a saying, famously in Telugu and Sanskrit. Hope you all remember. As important to human beings as air and water, in some ways, one might argue that tops the list because it can affect us in ways beyond just the physical. Food can change your mood, speak to your soul, and make a difference in your self-perception. Thus, on some level, we all want to eat right and are open to making changes that bring us to good health. So it's only fitting that there may be a day to celebrate eating right, which will hopefully put us all on a lifelong path of developing a healthier relationship with our food. Nutrition itself has been around as long as humans have. However, it was not until 400 BC that the Greek physician Hippocrates observed the impact food has on physical health, especially when it came to the prevention and cure of illness. The ancient world foods used for medicinal properties, such as using garlic to cure stomach ailments, and the birth of nutritional space itself is fairly recent. It began with the discovery of vitamins, which were synthesized and their effects on disease study. The name vitamin is derived from the words vital and amine, coined by Dr. Casimir Funk in 1912. The onset of World War I caused widespread fear of food shortages and forced nutritional scientists to focus on food as preventative for diseases. Hence, the first recommended dietary allowances, RDAs, were issued around this time. Since then, nutritional science has been a burgeoning field of study, and none of us are untouched by it. While it is known when exactly Let's All Eat Right Day was initially celebrated, we know it falls on the birthday of Adele Davis as a way to honoring her work and legacy she left. With the best-selling books like Let's Eat Right to Keep Fit, 1954, and Let's Cook It Right, 1947, Davis' research and publications had a huge impact on everyday American consumer, even with her fair share of controversy. Her focus was on championing whole foods over processed foods with additives and advocating for the importance of taking nutritional supplements to help and prevent disease and potentially other social ills. The early 1900s was a time when vitamins were introduced and the concept of their value as dietary supplements was on the rise. It created a new niche in the market for health products backed by science. In October 1994, Congress approved the Dietary and Supplementary Health and Education Act to regulate standards of nutrition supplements. So the official documentary definition of the phrase to eat right means to eat healthy foods. However, this can vary with cultural context, dietary type, and various sociological factors like access to food. Essentially, the aim of eating right is to ensure that body receives all the nutrition it requires in the right proportions in order to promote good health and longevity of life. And Harvard University expert Dr. Walter Willett is often referred to as the most cited nutritionist in the world, owing to the fact that he spent around 5 decades researching different aspects of diet and their impact on health, more specifically researching the cause and prevention of diseases. While there is no such thing as perfect food, there are some foods that are termed nutrient-dense foods. They include salmon, kale, seaweed, garlic, shellfish, potatoes, liver, sardines, blueberries, and dark chocolate, cocoa, and so on. So for everyone, including veggies and non-veggies, we have the most perfect food. But recent research says that even veggie food is better than even non-veg food due to sedimentary lifestyle and lifestyle disorders being widely prevalent nowadays. Whether you have or have not always read the labels on your groceries on this day, we urge you to start. And we also encourage you to shop for an entire meal from your nearest farmer's market or fresh produce center. The results will be worth the effort, but you don't blame us if your chef skills aren't up to the scratch and if you don't enjoy the taste of your meal. So let's face it, the internet is our go-to place for researching anything and everything. So it makes sense that the information on nutrition that we consume foods from legitimate research and sources. Donating to nonprofits like the Adele Davis Foundation can help provide university grants that support various educational programs and endeavors related to nutrition or any local, regional, national level research organizations or NGOs. While this may be easier said than done, the change can be a small one to begin with. And if you don't like the word diet because it has the dye in it, there are plenty more pleasant options like the green eating, clean eating, eco-friendly eating, eat right or healthy eating, and many more. So don't be fooled by many low-fat options contain added sugar. So low-fat products means more sugar. And almonds are not nuts. Almonds are classified as seeds and belong to the peach family. Lemons contains more sugar than strawberries. While chocolate is not chocolate, as it doesn't contain cocoa solids, white chocolate is a misnomer. Cabbage is 91% water and only 9% plant matter, almost on par with lettuce and cucumbers. So cabbage is mostly water. Regardless of one culture, geographical location, ethnicity, or beliefs, we all have food in common, and we believe in the importance of nutrition in relation to health. Therefore, a day that celebrates eating better is a day that can be celebrated the world over, uniting us in all single-minded pursuit. Eating right is essentially a form of self-care because you are investing in your own health and setting an example for those around you. So whether it's being more mindful of what you eat or cutting out certain foods, eating cleaner, the goal is to be healthier in body and mind. There is plenty of research out there to show how integral dietary habits are to mental well-being and physical well-being as well. So a day like this helps us take a step back in time itself, to days when there were no chemicals and adulterants in food, and food was grown organically by the sweat of farmers' brow. We are quite sure that even back then they took pleasure in their food. So taking the time to celebrate the whole and natural foods can bring us closer to that experience. Today is also National Chocolate Covered Nut Day. And it's almost 100 years since the first chocolate covered peanuts were sold. And it is dedicated to the pleasing combination of chocolate with nuts like peanuts, almonds, apricots, cashews, hazelnuts, and celebrates these tasteful treats that are enjoyed by people of all ages. It is said that the first mixture of chocolate and hazelnut happened during 1800s in the northwestern Italian region of Piedmont. The paste was called Gianduja. This was day before even milk chocolate came into the existing. Milk chocolate was born in 1876 when Swiss chocolatier Daniel Peter added dried milk powder to chocolate. In the 1900s, many companies such as Nestle started mass producing chocolate covered nuts, and it soon became a favorite snack among people of all ages. Though the exact origins of National Chocolate Covered Nut Day are not known, the day has been celebrated by millions every year on February 25th, giving recognition to the delicious combination of chocolate with nuts. So the Blumenthal Chocolate Company is said to have created the first ever chocolate covered with peanuts in 1925 when they released their product Goobers. Later, in 1969, Blumenthal was acquired by Ward Foods, who created chocolate-covered peanuts. And boiled peanuts are known as goobers or goober's peas in the South. And the category known as sugar confectionery covers all sweet confections, including sugar candy, bubblegum, and chocolate. So this is a favorite chocolate-covered nuts day, grabbing some M&Ms, Snickers, or Cadbury Nutties, and various choices. And chocolates are something that only gets sweeter when shared. So though This would be one of the best ways to celebrate. And chocolate is said to have derived from the Aztec word Xochitl, which referred to the drink made from cocoa beans. Theobroma cocoa, the Latin name for cacao plant or cocoa plant, roughly translates to the food of the gods. Fry is used to be the first person who made the first ever solid chocolate bar. Joseph Fry created the chocolate bar. According to 16th century Aztec document, chocolate was once used as a currency in Latin America. So Rudolf Lindt, the founder of Lindt Chocolates, is said to have designed the first ever counting machine. Today is also National Day for Kuwait, commemorates the day Sheikh Abdullah Al Salim Al Sabah became the ruler of Kuwait. In 1950, Al Sabah was an exceptional leader. During his reign, he signed a treaty that secured Kuwait's independence from British, putting an end to its status as a British protectorate in 1961. It was also during Al Sabah's rule, the Constitution of Kuwait and the Parliament of Kuwait were formally established. And the first celebrations were held in 1963. People in Kuwait celebrate this day by going on different places, watching fireworks at night, hanging out with friends, and more. People decorate their houses with colorful lights, flags, and even candles are lit at dinner time. The historical places like Kuwait National Museum, Al-Bahar Entertainment Historical Village, Mirror House, and Kuwait Towers are decorated with light. Flags are hoisted in buildings and displayed in public spaces. The streets are alive to the early hours of the next morning each year. And it is a public holiday in Kuwait. And today is also People Power Revolution Day in the Philippines, commemorates the public demonstrations that took place between February 22nd and 25th, 1986. The aftermath of this revolution led to the deposition of a tyrannical government and the beginning of a new political dispensation in the Philippines. The movement was internationally celebrated for being peaceful despite government opposition. The revolution also inspired other countries that adopted the same non-violent approach. And today is also Quiet Day in US. As the name suggests, it is about taking a pause and appreciating the sound of silence. Noise is everywhere, be it on the train, in a busy office, in the pub, in the classroom, or even at home or office workplace. Modern life is noisy. It seems like there is simply no way out of it. Being in the constant pressure of noise can be overwhelming, and it is important to take a break every once in a while. We know that quiet is good for both body and the mind. Peace calms us down, and helps us recenter ourselves. For the longest time, quietness has been a form of praying and meditating. Most religious sects advocate for quiet and the wonders it can do for one's emotional and physical well-being. Our voices and active interaction with others have served to keep us spiritually silent and separated from the world around us, and in the same odd ways from the very people we interact with every day. Quiet Day was established to remind us to slow down and give silence a chance. In India and many other Asian countries, there are meditation retreats where time is spent in quiet contemplation, sometimes for as long as 10 days. These are Vipassana retreats, a term meaning to see things as they are. This is an ancient Buddhist practice that is popular even today. While Quiet Day is just one day, the principles included in these retreats can be applied to your daily life too. Surrounding ourselves with peace and clarity can open up our minds to new experiences and inspire us to lead more meaningful lives. Every day, we were surrounded by the chatter of TV, music, radio, and our loved ones. Quiet day is the day to engage in a little quiet contemplation, giving our vocal cords a rest and simply listen to the world around us and connect with it. On this day, take a little time off for yourself and listen to the voice inside your head. So to enjoy silence movies, you can watch the India's first silent Indian full movie ever made was Raja Harishchandra in 1913. So we used to call, Mookie movies, that means there is no voice or sound in that movies. So you can watch this, Google it, Raja Harishchandra. It is the first silent Indian full feature movie ever made. And in the West, you can see The Great Train Robbery, the first silent movie in 1903. And composers explored the expressive potential of a silence in their music in 20th century. In Pursuit of Silence, a documentary portraying the spiritual and physical benefits of silence was released in 2015. As adults, we need the maternal part of ourselves to step in and prescribe slower, quieter days and to rescue us from the oppressive ideal of busy life, which can be very exhausting. So try to stay silent for an entire day to get better at listening before you speak. Stay silent to learn to think things through when you face a problem. It's beneficial to first reflect in silence before acting. That way, you can fully assess the situation and then make an intelligent, useful move. Plan for it, make it priority, teach the people you live with about quiet time and create at least one daily ritual that promises quiet. So spend some time in quietness, head out to the park or walk among the trees to experience a few moments of the quiet. This is a great way to celebrate Quiet Day. If you cannot spend a day in complete silence, try lowering the volume on your devices. Put your cell phone on silent, listen to music at a low volume, and speak as frequently as you can. Spend some time meditating on Quiet Day. If you cannot visit a Vipassana retreat, bring the retreat to you. Quiet can be creative. Quiet people are passionate about creating stuff and having a rich inner life. Being silent gives the brain a chance to wonder and reflect. Shyness is a learned behavioral problem that makes it difficult to socialize. Being quiet doesn't mean you are shy. Quiet people are observant and have a natural thirst for the knowledge and are quick learners. Being quiet doesn't mean one is agoraphobic. It means they prefer their own company. Peace is good for our mental and physical well-being. It can help calm you down, manage stress, and induce a feeling of positivity. And Quiet Day allows us to block all the unnecessary noise and connect with our inner selves. It is a day for introspection. It is a day to reconnect with ourselves. If you have been feeling agitated and restless for a while, Quiet Day can help you recenter and find your purpose again. See what you can do on this day to center yourself. Finally, the last commemoration, Choiceful Provincial Day in Solomon Islands. The objective is to commemorate the day with the Choiseul province broke away from the Western province. It is one of the 9 provinces of the Solomon Islands. It is also known as Nauru to native inhabitants. The province consists of 3 islands, Vagina, Choiseul, and Rob Roy. So with this, we shall conclude the commemorations of the day. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form. Those who have not registered for today's webinar, after filling up the feedback form in the form of polls, quickly fill up the registration form. Registration form is shared in the chat box. The feedback form has been raised in the form of polls. We request everyone to first quickly fill the overall feedback form, then you can fill the registration form if not yet filled by you before joining this session. Every day, the registration link will be saved. You can open the registration link and fill the details for that day. And tomorrow, from tomorrow, every Sunday till the international conference starts. So we have every Sunday, we have a clarification session or helping session, and where you can get information about various aspects of the international conference. So feel free to get your queries clarified and spread the conference information and registration links across your circles to your friends, colleagues, students, research scholars. And let's everyone join for tomorrow's 2 o'clock session with the same link, the same time. Sorry, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And Sundays also we have this international webinar series. Tomorrow also at the same time with the same link, you can join at 6 o'clock, but international pre-conference sessions will be there from 2 to 5 based on that. If there are less queries, we'll close it early. There are more queries, we can continue till all the queries have been answered. So quickly fill up the feedback form, which has been raised in the form of polls. See you all tomorrow. Take care. Good night. Kindly join us tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. with the same link. Take care. Good night.